Good morning, everyone. I'm Devon.
And I'm Shao.
And welcome back to I Love Chinatown Live, where we show you how to shop, play, and dine in Chinatown. This week's episode, we'll be diving into the world of noodles.
Yes, now there's so many different varieties of noodle, but today we're going to focus on flour noodles and rice noodles.
We're going to show you where you can buy your own bowl of hot steaming noodles right here in Chinatown.
Yep, we're going to be visiting two shops.
One of them is Miaodao, and the other one is Zhou hand-drawn noodle house. Let's go.
All right.
We're here at Miaodao here on 901 Race Street. They specialize in Yunnan guojiao mixian, also known as Yunnan crossing bridge rice noodles. Miaodao has many branches across the country. The Philadelphia branch opened in June of 2019. So what makes Miaodao unique is that their soup broth is made from pork and chicken bones. Also, their rice noodles are exclusively shipped from China, and they maintain a very strict cooking time for the rice noodles, which means that the noodles can maintain their distinct smooth and clear texture. So something that's really special is that these noodles can also maintain their distinct texture even if you order them for takeout. This dish is called guojiao mixian, which also means crossing bridge noodle. And the reason why it's called crossing bridge noodle is because some people have said that it comes from a story. In ancient China, there's a scholar studying for his imperial exams. His wife wanted to support him by bringing him food every day, but in order to see him, she had to cross a bridge. She discovered that by the time she crossed the bridge, all the food would get cold and soggy. So she decided to put chicken oil on top of the broth to keep it warm, and she also kept the meat, vegetables, and noodles separate. And then once she crossed the bridge, she combined them all together. This in front of me is the tomato rice noodle soup with fatty beef. Okay. So as you can see, the noodles have maintained their nice texture. Also, the soup has stayed pretty hot. There's bits of cabbage in it, as well as black mushroom. And the broth itself, you can actually see the chicken oil dotted in the broth. And this is the fatty beef. And all of these ingredients are cooked and warmed in the broth itself. And then after you add all the ingredients in, you wait 10 seconds. And that's also where the name of the restaurant comes from, because Miaodao means 10 seconds until it arrives or it's ready. Okay. As I mentioned before, something that makes this broth unique is that Miaodao uses pork and chicken bones. And like the legend said, there's a little bit of chicken oil to keep it warm. So. It's got a really nice, bright, acidic taste from the tomato. And the broth itself is super flavorful. Of course, that comes from the bones. And we'll try a little bit of the noodles now. They really maintain their really distinct and chewy texture. And of course, they're not soggy at all. Try a little bit of the fatty beef and the cabbage together. So the beef is really flavorful. It kind of just melts in your mouth. So what makes Miaodao's guojiao mixian different from other noodles that you might have tried before, or definitely different from what I've tried before, is that they've got a ton of different ingredients and textures all in one pot. Also, I think the way that it's prepared is pretty unique. So if you think about hot pot, Chinese hot pot, again, you have all these different ingredients and they're combined into one. But what makes the guojiao mixian unique is the noodles. So the noodles are kind of the focal point, and they help to bring all the different textures and flavors together. So you have the really nice crispy texture from the lettuce, as well as like the short bursts of sweetness from the corn. And then when you taste the noodles, they've got their own distinct texture as well. So I think the rice noodles are different from flour noodles because not only their translucency and the color, but also obviously their texture and how they feel when you're eating them. So rice noodles are a little bit on the chewier side. And I would say that flour noodles, you can definitely tell it's flour. It's a little bit gummier, and of course, the rice noodles last a little bit longer in broth. And this one, the broth is a little bit lighter and the smell is a little bit more delicate. I think something that makes this dish so unique is just that every bite is not the same and you're getting different textures with every bite that you take. So it makes it for a really fun dining experience, and it also ensures that you're having fun while you're eating it, which is the most important part.
We're at Zhou, hand-drawn noodle house. The restaurant was opened in 2003, and they're known for their hand-drawn noodles, their shaved noodles, and also their homemade dumplings. A distinguishing feature of hand-pulled noodle is their chewy texture. Their soup consists of a chicken-based broth and a special seasoning made by the owner. The restaurant offers outside dining, so we're out here and we're gonna taste some of this delicious food. We have one of our members of our film crew, Jane, our director of sound here, to taste some of these delicious noodles. A lot of times our film crew just watch us enjoy the food, so this time we want them to enjoy the food. So, you know, take your pick. which noodle did you want to try today, Jane?
I want to try the one in the middle.
Okay, great. So the first noodle that Jane is tasting is the shaved noodle with braised beef tendon. I love how rich the broth looks, and I see some pickled vegetables in it, and also some cilantro and scallion. How's the noodle, Jane? It looks really good. I especially love how deep and beefy the broth looks.
Yeah, the soup is very beefy, and also the noodles are very chewy, and also I can taste some Chinese herbal flavor inside the soup.
Oh, wow.
And also the beef is very soft. It looks like it's just cooked overnight.
Yeah, it looks very tender.
Also the preserved vegetables, it's not very sour, it's very crispy. It's not the one you imagine, like the pickle.
Okay, on to the next bowl of noodles. Which one would you like to try?
The one on the left.
Okay, so we have here is the braised sliced beef noodles, hand-pulled noodles for this one. Looks like it has radish in it, the preserved vegetable, cilantro, and scallions. That looks really good. What's the difference between this noodle and the last noodle that you had?
As you can see, these noodles and the beef are very thinner than the last one. And also it has some spicy inside. And now I'm using the house-made special spicy oil. Just put a little bit. I think it's a little bit spicy, but yeah, you can still accept the spicy.
Okay. Okay, Jane, now it's time for the dumplings. We have the house-made chive and pork dumplings. Can you give those a try? See how it is? The filling looks really good. I love how it's loaded with chive, and I see.
Yeah, I can also taste the fat part of the pork.
Oh yeah, that's really good. That definitely makes the dumplings very juicy and plump. The dumplings look great, but now it's on to more noodles, Jane. Right here we have the house special hand-pulled noodles with pork meatballs, ground pork, and also braised beef. How are the meatballs? They look very tender.
Yeah, but it's unlike American style meatball. It's full of pork flavor and also a little bit crispy.
Oh, nice.
I don't know what they add inside, but it's a little bit crispy inside. This one had less herbal flavor than the last one.
Okay. One of my favorite things about the restaurant here is that you can order different types of noodles for the noodle dish. Between the hand-pulled noodle and the shaved noodle, which one do you prefer?
Actually, I personally prefer the hand-pulled one.
Oh, okay, wow. I actually like the shaved one. What do you like about the hand-pulled one?
Yeah, actually the thinner one has more stronger flavor.
Oh, okay. Yeah, I like the shaved noodles because I like I feel like it has a little more chewier texture, I guess, because it is thicker than the hand-pulled noodle. So I personally like the chewier texture of the shaved noodles, and with the beefy broth flavor. I feel like that's it's a really good combo.
That's it for the third episode of I Love Chinatown Live. I had so much fun trying the crossing bridge noodles at Miaodao. My favorite part was being able to put all in the ingredients in one bowl. The broth was super rich and the noodles are really, really clean in texture. Shao, what about you?
Well, my favorite part of my visit to Nanzhao hand-drawn noodle house was getting to see how the noodles were made. It was so interesting seeing the chef pull the noodles and stretching it and also shaving the noodles too.
That sounds awesome. I can't wait to see where we go next time.
Yeah, me too. And don't forget to follow us on social media. We're on Facebook, Twitter, YouTube, and Instagram.
See you next time.
See ya.
Bye.
Bye.